How much do you know about the history of heyday? 100 years out, the DP took a look at how the tradition has evolved from its beginnings to now. The first heyday occurred in 1916 and was based on moving up day traditions from other schools across the country. The name of heyday is actually as old as the tradition itself and steeped in mythology. The official story is that it was chosen by the university, but many say that the name's inspiration actually came from the editor-in-chief of the Pennsylvanian, a predecessor to the DP, in a spirited, tongue-in-cheek editorial. Heyday was at this time a celebration of student talent and growth, showcasing college sporting events and performances and celebrating the senior class. 1926 saw the first women's heyday. Prior, women had been excluded from the event, and a separate celebration for women graduates was held for decades up through the 1960s. Before the 20th century, another event commonly known as Class Day had also been celebrated as a commemoration of all classes moving up. But in 1931, the two events were combined, with the main focus now on the Heyday Assembly and the Honor Men Awards, which were presented to the most dignified members of the graduating class. Women's Heyday also had its own Senior Honor Awards, and today, all 8 men's and women's honor awards are given out on Ivy Day. Years of tradition passed and the event changed, but it wasn't until the 1960s that the event began to take shape as we currently know it. Though the seniors had marched in iconic straw hats with red and blue ribbon for a few years, the tradition of juniors marching along with canes to celebrate their accession to the senior class didn't begin until 1965. And in 1968, men's and women's heyday finally merged, creating the first gender-unified heyday since its inception, and ultimately the end of women's heyday. But it wasn't until the 1980s that the event really claimed its current hallmarks: bamboo-style canes, styrofoam imitation straw hats, and junior class designed t-shirts for students to wear and celebrate with. The introduction of these hats was what ultimately created the hat-biting tradition at the event, which persists to this day. With the small addition of condiment throwing in the early 2000s, heyday has largely remained the same since. And this year, students will celebrate for the 100th time their moving up. The 100th heyday will begin at 10 a.m. on High Rise Field this Thursday, April 30th. Shirt and picnic pass pickup will continue through Wednesday. If you have other questions, be sure to check out the 100th Heyday Facebook event.